Hi everyone, it's Sandra and welcome to today's video. This is my summer 2020 morning skincare routine. Maybe once or twice a week I might deviate a little bit from this if I want to be a little bit more extra and do a little face massage or anything pampering like a face mask or something, but for the most part, especially during the week, these are the products that I use every single day. So starting with cleanser, I have two cleansers that I'm using right now. It depends on how my skin is feeling on a particular morning. If I wake up and my skin is quite oily, I will want a stronger cleanse. That's when I use the Armani Creminera cleansing moisturizer. It's a really moisturizing cleanser. It doesn't feel stripping or anything, but it does have a bit more power. And if you're somebody that really likes your skin to feel clean, a cleanser like this, like one of those cream to foam type of cleansers, will get you there. And if I wake up and my skin is quite normal, I just want to do something really light and gentle, I have been digging the Derma E CBD cleanser. This is so gentle. It really reminds me of the CeraVe hydrating cleanser, but I like it a little bit more than the CeraVe because it rinses clean. I don't know about you, but whenever I wash my face with the CeraVe, if I don't use a washcloth to remove it, it will leave a bit of a residue on my skin. Do I buy the whole CBD and skincare thing? I'm not sure, but I do love it. It's beautiful. Not foaming at all. It's just a really gentle, creamy cleanser, gel cream cleanser that rinses clean, no fragrance, doesn't smell like anything. So it's a really nice alternative for when my skin is feeling a little bit tender, like it needs a little bit more of a gentle cleanse. So those are the two that I'm using. My husband also really loves the Derma E cleanser. He uses it morning and night. So we have been getting through it quite quickly, but would definitely repurchase. On to the fun stuff, onto the serums. I actually filmed the application of the serums and my moisturizer and sunscreen and all that, so you can see how I use them. Once my skin is nice and dry, I will go in with my vitamin C serum. I like to use different types of antioxidant serums, but in the summertime, I like something like a traditional L-ascorbic acid type of vitamin C serum, and I've tried a ton over the years. Some of them I liked better than others. I don't like the ones that are like in the silicone base. I know that that is much better in terms of maintaining the integrity of the L-ascorbic acid, but I don't love the texture of them. I just find them hard to work with. And some of the L-ascorbic acid serums that I've tried in the past have also irritated my skin. Some have broken me out. It's been a journey trying to discover the formulas that work for my skin. I want to try the Skinceuticals, not the classic CE ferulic. I tried CE ferulic and I liked it, but I wasn't like, oh my God, need to repurchase right away. I heard that the Floritin one might be better for people with acne prone skin, oily skin. So I'm using the Floritin CF right now. I love Skinceuticals products. I love trying them. A lot of them have worked really well for me. They sell them at a lot of medical spas. They also sell them online at various retailers, especially during the holidays. They always have little kits, and it's a great way to save some money and also get to try some different products. So I got a little kit with their eye cream, the sunscreen, which I love, the Physical Fusion sunscreen, and a little 15 milliliter bottle of the Floritin CF. So I wanted to save it for the summertime and use it. And I've been using it for almost a month. I use it every single morning. And I really like the texture of it. It does smell like hot dogs. I find a lot of those traditional vitamin C serums tend to have a little bit of a hot dog scent, especially if they don't have additional fragrance added to neutralize that scent. The hot dog scent doesn't bother me. To be honest, I would rather have a product that stinks but works than something that is perfumed and doesn't. I notice my skin is like a little bit brighter. Just this week, I'm starting to notice maybe results. I don't know if I'm imagining it. I did take before photos. There's one particular spot where I have some sun damage on my cheek where I'm curious to see how much this will fade it. So after I'm finished up with this bottle, I will take a picture of that spot, try to take it at the same time of day under the same lighting conditions to kind of compare and see if it actually did anything in terms of brightening my sun damage. But in terms of texture, how it makes my skin feel, I've been really enjoying this. So that's the vitamin C that I use. And again, I like to give it a few minutes. It's hard for me to kind of get a clear answer on how long you're supposed to wait between applying your vitamin C serum and then the rest of your skincare. There are so many confusing articles out there. Some dermatologists say, you know, wait a minute. Some dermatologists say wait 5 minutes. Some say you don't need to wait at all. I think it really depends on the type of vitamin C serum that you're using and the type of product you're using afterwards. But anyway, just to be safe, I like to wait like 5 to 10 minutes. I brush my teeth, I go get dressed, I go make myself a coffee, and then I come back and resume the rest of my skincare routine. And I like to go in with a hydrating mist. Now, I'm not using the mist that's on the bottle. I just decanted my Jordan Samuel Skin Hydrate Mist into this little old Youth to the People adaptogen mist bottle, just because the mister of this is incredible. I love it so much. It's like the perfect mist for me. It's really, really fun. I like the Youth to the People mist as well, but I love the Jordan Samuel Skin Hydrate Mist, especially in the summertime. It smells like cucumber and has a really nice fresh feeling. So I like to use this to kind of get my skin a little bit damp and ready for the hydrating serum that I apply afterwards. Then I go in with my under eye gel. This is the Jordan Samuel Skin Performance Eye Gel. This is his newest product. Now, all the other Jordan Samuel Skin products that I've ever featured on my channel, I bought with my own money. This, I did not. This was sent to me from the brand. As soon as he launched it, he sent it over, and I'm really grateful for that. I would have bought it with my own money anyway. It's a skincare brand that I really love and that I believe in, and I'm very happy to support. So I was excited to get to try this, and I love an eye gel, eye serum, especially in the summertime, as my skin is definitely more on the combination to oily side. So I like something really lightweight and cooling. And if you remember the Bioderma Sensibio eye contour gel that I was really, really loving last summer, this is very similar to that, except it's a little bit more hydrating. It's a bit more wet. A little goes a long way. I use about half a pea size amount under both eyes, and it just feels so nice. It's very hydrating, and I love just sitting there zoning out for a few seconds while I gently massage this in with my ring fingers. It also has very, very fine reflective particles in it, which I tried really hard to capture on camera. I hope that you can see it. It's a perfect under eye product for me for the summertime. And if you liked the Bioderma one, you will really like this as well. They are very similar, and they're around the same price as well. Next up is our hydration step for the face, and I will use either or, sometimes mix both of these products. This is the Jordan Samuel Skin Hydrate Facial Serum. I have been talking about this for years. It's my favorite plain, good old hydrating hyaluronic acid serum. I love this stuff. But sometimes, especially in the summertime, if I use too much of this, it can kind of disrupt the other layers. It can kind of make things not apply as nicely in terms of makeup and sunscreen and all that good stuff. So if there's one thing that I've learned during lockdown and quarantine from just playing with skincare and makeup and sunscreen, is that the way that you apply, the amount of what you apply, and the way that you layer things is just as important as, sometimes even more important than the actual foundation. So a lot of the times if you buy a new foundation and you find that it doesn't work for your skin, before you dismiss that foundation, consider what you wear underneath first, and sometimes just adjusting the amounts of products, especially if you are like me and you're more oily combination. Sometimes even something as harmless as a hyaluronic acid serum can really have an effect on how your makeup tends to wear and look throughout the day, especially if you are putting on a sunscreen, if you're putting on a foundation, if you're putting on powder. All those layers tend to play differently with each other. So what I've noticed for me this summer is less is more with this. I can go crazy at night. At night I use 2 pumps of this. Sometimes if I wake up and my skin is really oily, I will skip this and just use this instead. This is the Giorgio Armani Creminera Firming Plumping Essence. This is beautiful. I hate how much my skin loves this because this is eye-wateringly expensive, and by no means do you need to go out and buy this. Per ounce, I think this is like 9 times more expensive than this. Is this 9 times better than this? No. Fancy skincare, you pay for like the experience, right? You have this luxurious bottle, you have the brand legacy and all that stuff. And if you can afford it, it's nice. It can be a nice treat from time to time, but by no means is it necessary. But I have both. I love both, so I kind of enjoy the experience of mixing and matching. So sometimes I mix both, sometimes I just use this if I'm feeling really oily. This is a bit more silky in texture. Sometimes if my skin is feeling a bit more dehydrated, I will just go in with a full pump of this. Next up is moisturizer, and I've been using and really enjoying the Glossier Priming Moisturizer Balance. This recently launched, but I've had early access to it. They sent it to me about 2 months ago, and I've really been enjoying it. It's a perfect, basic, but good kind of basic daytime moisturizer for me. And if you have oily combination skin, you want just like a no fuss, really nice gel lotion type of moisturizer, this is really nice. The ingredients list is great. There's no fragrance in it. Water, glycerin, apple extract, there's niacinamide, willow bark extract, there's some tamarind, squalene. It's really, really nice. I only use 1 pump of it. I find that to be enough. I love the packaging. It's really chic. It really reminds me of, it's like the type of moisturizer that I would have loved to use in my 20s. I was really loyal to the Clinique Dramatically Different Moisturizing Gel. It was like in the yellow tube type of thing. And this kind of reminds me of that, but better. And then finally, arguably the most important step, any day of the year, especially during the summertime, is sunscreen. And I usually have 1 chemical and 1 mineral sunscreen going, depending on what I'm doing. But this time I have 2 mineral ones open and going at the same time. This is Skinceuticals Physical Fusion SPF 50. It's a tinted sunscreen, and this is the Aven Tinted Mineral Fluid, also SPF 50. This I have been using for the last 2 years. I have repurchased it. It's like a tried and true favorite of mine. This was a newbie, and I didn't love it the first couple of times I tried it because I don't know, it was like a learning curve trying to get it to work for me. But now I really love it. So now I can safely say that I love both of these, would repurchase both of these, and they kind of serve different purposes for me, but I'm very happy with both. So let me tell you how I use which one. If I'm just doing a very sheer glowy foundation, I will go with the Skinceuticals Physical Fusion. This dries to like a more satin matte type of finish, and when I do a nice lightweight glowy base on top, it wears really well. So I like to use this either like with the Chanel water tint on top. It works really well with the Sicily tinted moisturizer on top. It works really well with the Armani Neo Nude foundation. So anything that's like the tinted moisturizer, lightweight, dewy type of formula tends to perform really well on top of the Skinceuticals Physical Fusion. But if I want to do a more like medium to full foundation or something with a more of like a matte or satin finish, I will use the Aven sunscreen underneath. This has a very dewy texture and it stays dewy on the skin. It doesn't dry down. I think if you are somebody with more normal to dry skin and really want a glowy, dewy sunscreen, this is a great option. I know Supergoop have a really good one too. I think it's called Glow Screen. That's a really glowy sunscreen that a lot of my friends with dry skin are loving. Then I do a more matte to satin foundation on top. The Lancome Tanti Doll, Estee Lauder Double Wear, the Dior Face and Body work really well on top of the Aven. So my sunscreen choice is dependent on the makeup that I'm doing. I have to say I prefer the tint of the Aven. It has a bit more of a flattering golden undertone, and the pigment of the tint is a bit more intense. The tint of the Skinceuticals is a bit more ashy, but it's also more sheer. So they're both nice on my skin tone. I'm not sure how they would be on deeper skin tones or fairer skin tones. The Skinceuticals is water resistant up to 40 minutes. The Aven is water resistant up to 80 minutes. So if you are wearing either one at the beach, make sure you reapply accordingly. And if you're outside in general, it is recommended that you reapply your sunscreen every couple of hours. There are several resources available on how to reapply your sunscreen if you are wearing makeup. Obviously it's a lot easier to reapply your face sunscreen if you're not wearing any makeup. There is one method that I have personally not tried. It requires like a really watery chemical sunscreen formula, and if you use like a microfiber sponge to apply it, that seems to be like a good way to reapply over your makeup without disturbing your makeup. One of my favorite skincare Instagram accounts, Vanessa at Goals to Get Glowing, that's one of the ways she reapplies her sunscreen, so I recommend checking her out on Instagram. I also really love following Funmi. Funmi Monet is her Instagram handle, and she has been doing daily SPF try-ons to see which formulas work on her deeper complexion, and she also does reapplication in her car, which is really fun to watch. She really loves the Kate Somerville sunscreen spray to reapply sunscreen over her makeup, or the Color Science SPF powder. So both of those I have not tried. I would be very open to buying them and trying them in the future. My personal favorite SPF reapplication is the La Roche-Posay Anti-Shine Mist, which is unfortunately not available in North America. I bought lots of them when I was in Italy last summer, and I have them in that cupboard behind me. This is my personal favorite way of reapplying sunscreen over makeup. And if you are in Europe, you have easy access to this. I just bought this from the pharmacy when I was in Italy last summer, but it is my favorite. It is perfumed, so if you're really sensitive to fragrance and stuff like that, you might not like it, but I love the smell. It's a really fresh smell, really fine mist, and La Roche-Posay makes really, really good sunscreens. And when I did my try-on of this sunscreen on Instagram, I got a lot of messages recommending the La Roche-Posay mineral sunscreen. They have a tinted mineral one that seems to be really good for people with oily skin, so I will try that in the future. Also got a lot of recommendations for the Bioderma Nude Touch, which is another tinted mineral sunscreen. So I will link them below if you want to have a gander, you want to take a look at some options to explore. But sunscreen is really important, and also applying the right amount of sunscreen is important. When I buy a new sunscreen formula, I like to get really technical and actually weigh out the amount. It's recommended to use half a teaspoon. Some places say 3 grams. So what I like to do is I just take a little teaspoon measure. This is a half teaspoon measure, and I put it on the kitchen scale, and then I measure out 3 grams of sunscreen in the spoon, and then I put it on my hand just to kind of get a sense of how much I'm supposed to use. And then after I do that, I can eyeball it afterwards. So that's kind of how I do it with this. There's also another method that a lot of my favorite skincare people on Instagram use. It's the 3-finger method. So you just put out 3 fingers and you just put a line of sunscreen on each finger, and that's a correct amount to use on your face. I find the 3-finger method not to work really well with the Skinceuticals Physical Fusion because this is so liquidy. It just gets really messy and it drips all over my hand. But if you have like a more creamy, more hefty sunscreen formula, the 3-finger method works really well. Like the 3-finger method works with the Event sunscreen well. So that's about it for me. I'm out of breath because I feel like I'm talking really fast. I get really excited about it. And you know what? Sunscreen was never an exciting topic for me, and it's definitely a step that I am a lot more diligent about now than I was early on in my life. So that's it for me. Let me know what sunscreen you are using right now. What is your favorite? As always, I love catching up with you in the comment section below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching my video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.